what a crazy UFC fight night. And as usual, I got my brother Shanksy here, and we are going to discuss it all. Plus, we are going to give our predictions for this upcoming fight night in just a couple days. So if you guys are ready for that, Shanksy, my brother, tell them what to do.
Let's go smash it.
Valley flying.
What is up, Valley Maniacs? Valley Flying here. I am back. Welcome to the channel. What a crazy night last night. And I know you were up really late, my brother Shanksy, watching that stuff. Craziness, right?
Man, with the time difference and everything like that, when I want to watch UFC, and if it's on, I want to watch it, it involves me staying up till about 6-7 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
It's been a long old night, man.
All right, well, let's get through this quick because it was a fun night of cards. Our predictions, you got some right, I got some right. Michael Johnson, that was a good fight. First round looked like I was gonna be right with my predictions, but second round, oh my goodness, he just Thiago Moises came on and took him out. What is your reaction to this fight?
The right Michael Johnson showed up. He looked on point. He looked so good in his striking game. Takedown defense was good. Everything like that. He lit him up in the first round. And I thought, oh dear, the wrong Michael Johnson has turned up for my prediction. Moises listened to his corner at the end of the first, come darting out, jumped across the ring into a double leg takedown, missed the double leg, ended up going for the single leg, pulled guard, heel hook, good night. Amazing finish. His reaction, Michael Johnson's reaction to that made me think he probably hadn't seen a lot of heel hooks in practice because it looked like some, oh, what is this type of thing, his reaction. So I don't know, maybe that's an area that he needs to turn up a little bit, but man, he looked really good in that first round, but Moises is just a tad better, so looking good there. All right. The old guys, Andrei Arlovski. It was the night of the old guys last night. Andrei Arlovski turning up, winning the decision. I don't think Lynn's had too much offense as far as I remember. How are you remembering this fight? I think the trouble with this one, and I think Phillip Limbs looked actually really good. He was trying to play this counter-punching game, which is great if you've got a guy coming forward. Arlovski didn't want to come forward. He wanted to also just fight at range. He switched to a southpaw stance, and I've never seen a Arlovski fight in a southpaw stance before. I know these guys were training partners before. I think he actually switched the stance to actually cause Phillip Limbs a bit of a like, hang on, this is not how he normally fights. And Limbs just type of played into Arlovski's game. It was a pretty decent fight, and I think Arlovski deserved the win. How much do you think that groin shot played into the victory? Because he seemed a little gun shy to throw that kick after that. Not a huge amount. Like, they were talking about it. Oh, we haven't seen that kick, and then bam, he fired in again. He had to be careful with it, but I don't think it played that big a deal with it. It was a good fight. It was a good fight. This one is even better though. Ricky Simone, I think I was pronouncing his name wrong yesterday. Ray Borg. This one could have went either way. This was a very good fight. This one was hard to call. Both of these guys came to fight. Both of these guys looked like they had a good training camp. And did you agree with the judge's decision on this one? Wholeheartedly, I gave it unanimously to Ricky, without a shadow of doubt. I think he looked blinding. The exchanges were so good. It just looked to me, Simon had the better takedowns. He had all the takedowns. He had the better scramble, and Borg probably had some of the better combos. But I think Ricky again landed some really good shots in that. I gave it to Ricky every round. Yeah, I think I would as well every single round. Just slightly better than Borg every single round though. I would give it a 30-27, but it wasn't like this hugely dominant performance over Borg. It was, he won every round, but yeah, both of the guys look good. All right, this was a fun fight. Drew Dober came to throw down, my friend. Just exactly what you were saying.
Alexander Hernandez couldn't really stop him in round 2, and Drew Dober ended up with a KO victory. What are your thoughts on this one?
I thought Drew Dober looked amazing. He looked so comfortable, so calm, so collective. He looked like he was having a huge amount of fun. Like, in the whole build-up to it, that's the happiest I've ever seen that dude. And I think that just really played a part into it. He threw down. He had the stopping power for Hernandez. I thought Hernandez's wrestling would have got the better. But no, Dober looked really good, man. Really good.
Yeah, all of these fights were really good. Let's talk about this one. Ben Rothwell, OSP. Oh, my goodness. Now, the first round, Ben looked like he was just using his weight. Second round looked like he was using his weight. OSP catches him, and it is a very different fight from that point on. Round 3, that was just back and forth. This ended up being a good fight. I thought this would be a boring fight after watching round 1, just smothering him, using his weight, laying on him. But man, these guys at the end of the round 3 was off the charts. What are your thoughts on this fight?
I think Rothwell made OSP carry him for 11, maybe 12 minutes of a 15-minute fight. He used his weight. He used that size. When they were trading, it was really good. But that was 3 minutes of a 15-minute fight. There weren't a lot of action on the cage. I wasn't that impressed with this fight. I really weren't.
Ben Rothwell does what he does. He does enough to win. Even in his knockouts, I'm not like, oh my goodness, Ben Rothwell's the next heavy. He's like, all right, he won. He looked good in this win. Kind of same feeling here. He won, and that weight was a big factor. OSP first fight at heavyweight.
Huge.
It seemed like this was just kind of an off fight because of the isolation going on right now. Probably going to move back down to light heavyweight, but he proved if he wants to go up to heavyweight, he's got the power, he's got the stamina if he wants to do that. What do you see for OSP?
I think OSP is here to stay in the heavyweight division.
Oh, okay. We will see what happens. We'll see what happens.
I think this was touted before. This was spoken about before. I don't think this was a weight cut issue. I think he wanted to move up to heavyweight.
All right, yeah. I mean, what is it? 3 years ago, his manager was talking about this fight in particular with Rothwell. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I think he does a little better at light heavyweight, but he's got the size, he's got the strength. He can deal with the heavyweights. One of the heavier heavyweights. Yeah. All right, this one. Oh my, this was a brutal fight. Round 1, very exciting. Round 2 looked good as well. Round 3, Anthony Smith gets punched in the eye. He grabs his eye, and it's a totally different fight after that. I don't think it was an eye poke. I think it was a punch, but Glover just dominant after that. Could have been stopped a few rounds earlier. What do you think of this fight overall up until that punch in the eye? And then how soon do you think this should have been stopped after it just looked like there was no coming back for Anthony Smith?
This was a phenomenal fight. The first round, I was like, there was no way Glover can deal with Smith. He looks cool, calm, collective. His work rate was off the chart. I thought this is going to be Smith dominant.
And he was in rounds 1 and 2, right? He looked pretty dominant.
Was he too dominant? Was he putting 100% into every single punch? His work rate was just so off the chart that he burned himself out. And I think he burned himself out before he got punched in the eye. Then it went wrong.
So the announcers were talking about no crowd. You could hear everything that his corner was telling him, and he was just doing it. Do you think that played a factor into him just not having that stamina like he normally does, and just doing everything quick? Nothing left?
1 million percent. 1 million percent. He depleted himself in a 25-minute fight inside 8 minutes. He depleted himself because he was literally going 300% from the bell at the first round. He was literally throwing everything into every combination. And it started looking really bad. I use the term he beat the brakes off him quite a lot. Glover beats the brakes off him.
Oh, it got ugly. It got ugly, and it was brutal because, again, the no crowd thing. This time I wasn't having a party. I was just listening to the sound. You could hear every single one of these punches hit. I'm like, At some point I was like, no, stop. Just stop the fight. Anthony's not coming back. He doesn't need to take this much damage. What did you think of the stoppage? Do you think that was too late? Do you think his corner should have stepped in? The ref obviously wasn't stepping in, and he was doing a good job defending. He had his hands up. Glover would go for the choke. Super easy, just is like, all right, take my neck, get the stuff, I'll tap. He didn't do that. He kept defending the choke. Glover never got a choke. I don't think Anthony Smith would have quit this fight. He was getting pounded. Ref stepped in. Thank goodness for Anthony Smith, but there was no quit in him. He didn't quit. He is the Lionheart.
There was no quit, and I think there should have been. I think he said something to his corner at the end of the fourth, and he was like, I think I'm losing my teeth, or my teeth are getting knocked out, or something like that. He didn't want to go back in. You know what I mean? He's not going to quit. It's on TV. He's a fighter. He's the Lionheart. He's not going to say, guys, I've had enough. You know what I mean? Like, the geezer's knocking me teeth out. Yeah. That, I think, was as close to a mission of, please get me out of this octagon, you're ever going to see from Anthony Smith. And I think hats off to Glover as well. I think there were times in this fight that he could have put a lot more damage on Smith. And I think that's why he was going for the choke. Yeah. I genuinely believe that's why he was going for a sub-win, to stop putting that type of damage onto him where he didn't want to. Like, you see, the second the ref called it off, Glover stands up, he picks Smith up, and he puts him against the wall. Like, Glover didn't want to do any more damage to him than he needed to.
I saw that. And I was wondering, why does he keep going for chokes? And the announcers were like, why doesn't he just ground and pound? And I think that is exactly why he didn't ground and pound, because Smith was done. You could tell in his eyes, you could tell in his movements. They're just so slow and labored. There was really no coming back after he got to that point. With taking that much damage.
With no guard. It was fighting with no guard. His hands were down by his side. He's breathing with his mouth open.
Yeah.
It should have been stopped. It should have been stopped.
With a stand-up. And every time he would get touched after that one shot, his reaction was like, oh my goodness, this is like the hardest shot I've ever taken. So there's props to Glover for showing up and with this big win, and props to Smith for hanging in there. Maybe a little too long, but good card. Any final thoughts on it before we move to Saturday's card? Because another big one coming up.
I want to see Glover get another top 5 guy immediately, and maybe even go for the title. I think he deserved it off that type of performance. I really do. I'd like to see him get a title shot.
Yeah, that was very, very impressive. Let's move on, though. Let's talk about this coming Saturday's fight. I'm not going to go to the prelims. I'm going to start right here with Song Yadong. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, versus Marlon Vera. Now, Song Yadong is the favorite in this fight, -200, +160 for Marlon Vera. I'm not super familiar with either of these fighters. What are you seeing happening in this fight?
Interesting matchup. We always say styles make these matchups. Yes. Yadong, by far the better striker in my opinion. Vera, by far the better grappler. I think overall, Yadong's going to look a little bit too good on his feet. And it's going to be very scrambly. This type of featherweight bout normally is, even when they can get them down. Vera's the type of guy that, you train BJJ as well, it's always position before submission. Yes. Position before submission. Vera don't care. Vera will quite happily lose the position by going for a crazy choke, by going for an armbar, by all this type of thing. I think Yadong will scramble out of that, and I think Yadong wins standing up on the feet. Knockout, round 2.
All right, so based on what I know about these fighters from what you just said and the odds makers, I have to go with Song Yadong also. And I just think, just from what I've heard, I think the edge does go to him as far as the stand-up. And it sounds like Vera is a little sloppy with some of his submission attempts. So that's kind of a dangerous
Exciting.
game.
He's exciting.
Exciting, okay. Well, I'm picking Song. I'm gonna, just to be a little different than you, I'm gonna say round 3 KO. Just for the sake of difference. All right, Eric Anders, Krzysztof Jaco. Now the favorite in this one is Jaco, -165. Anders coming in at +135. Again, two fighters I'm not super familiar with. So what is your take on this? Who do you think has the edge in this matchup?
Both of these guys on a super good run at the moment. This, again, is going to be a really nice stylistic matchup. Anders tends to get flustered if people can show him that type of power. So, for example, he's a really, really good striker. If he gets hit hard, all of a sudden he don't want to come forward anymore, and he type will lay off you a little bit.
Okay.
Has Christoph got that type of power to make Anders respect him? I don't think he has. Like, Christoph's no fool, don't get me wrong. Like, he's a really good guy. I think Anders, just with the size, with his power, is going to overwhelm, and I'm going to go against the favorite here and go for Eric Anders.
Oh, man. From what you were telling me, I was going to pick Anders as well. I guess just for the sake of difference, I'll go with the betting line. I'll pick Jaco based on nothing else that you picked Anders. That's what I'm doing my pick. My head is telling me Anders, but to be different, and the odds makers are picking Jaco, I'm going to pick Jaco.
Going against me seems like a really smart idea at the moment.
It was this past thing, right? All right, this should be a barn burner, my friend. These are two guys that just light it up. Edson Barboza, number 11 in the heavyweight division. Dan Ige, number 15 in the heavyweight division. Barboza, slight favorite, minus 135. Ige coming in at plus 105. This looks like a very, very close fight. How do you see this fight going?
I think this is going to be a great fight. I just think Barboza is going to be too big. Like, he's just going to be too big. Height 5'7", plays 5'11". Used to fighting at 155, 75-inch reach, 41-inch leg reach. Huge stopping power. I just think Barboza is going to knock out Dan. Dan's no joke, don't get me wrong. He can win. Dan can win this fight anywhere. But I think Barboza is just going to be too big for him.
All right, well, I got one of those gut feelings again, kind of like the Gagey and Ferguson. My head, logic, everything is telling me pick Barboza. You're saying pick Barboza. The odds makers are saying pick Barboza. Logic is telling me pick Barboza. I'm going to go Ige. I'm going to go Ige, round 3 stoppage. I'm not sure if it's a KO or a submission, but I'm going to say round 3 stoppage for Ige.
I like it.
Got to go to the gut sometimes.
And look, it's been working for you somehow.
Maybe I got some psychic premonition or something like fueling me. Although I did not see Anthony Smith losing like that to Glover last night. My goodness.
No one did.
The women strawweight, number 6, Claudia Gadelha. Angela Hill, looking pretty good in her last few fights. Claudia, obviously huge favorite, minus 205. Hill coming in at plus 165. How do you see this fight going?
I'll put my hands up. I'm not super familiar with these girls here. So just by the numbers, just by the ranking, I'm going to have to go for Claudia. She's ranked 6 in there for a reason. I've not really been able to see any tape on either of these guys.
Okay.
Or either of these girls. So I'm going to go for Claudia here.
So Angela Hill has like a kickboxing background, has some good grappling, but she's more of a scrappy fighter, not like the most technically sound. Claudia is just a big, heavy hitter. So with that said, I'm gonna also go with Claudia on this one. I think she's just too much power. I'm gonna go round 1, TKO or KO.
I like it.
What did you say as far as the finish?
Well, let's go for a knockout. Early doors. Well, late in the first.
I guess. Oh, so we got the same pick. Bad luck. All right. Oh, this is gonna be painful for me to pick because Overeem. He hasn't been around for a few years, but Overeem was my favorite fighter of all time. Very close to Fedor, but Overeem. Now, he hasn't looked like that in many, many years, but there's still a soft spot in my heart for Alistair Overeem. But Walt Harris, that package that they did on him last night during Fight Night about his sister, I don't know how I could pick against him. So,
I think it was his stepdaughter.
Was it his stepdaughter? Oh, stepdaughter. Yeah, you're right. Stepdaughter. All right. Yeah, I don't know how I can pick against them. The odds makers are saying Walt Harris minus 165, Overeem 135. How do you see this fight going? Usually I go second, but I'll let you do this one second.
It's going to be so tough, this one. I don't know what type of mind frame Walt Harris is going to be in. Like, how do you go through that type of adversity, that type of hardship, that type of how do you go through that? And then, like, what version of this man steps into the octagon? Like, I can imagine just pure rage. Like, he's doing this for his stepdaughter. How do you lose? I don't see him losing. I just don't see him losing.
I don't do that. As much as
I think it's going to be, it's going to be a knockout. Overeem's going to get stopped. I feel like Walt's going to go in there and unleash some real pent-up, much-needed aggression, and Overeem's going to bear the brunt of that. The Demolition Man is going to get demolished.
Oh, I don't want to see that happen, but I think it's going to happen. All right, now predictions. I think both of us are picking Harris. Let's do something different. Let's try to get some difference here. How do you see this fight ending, and when?
Knockout in the first.
Oh, first. I'm going to go knockout in the third. Alistair's got some skill. Alistair got some skill, but his chin has been a little suspect in his last few fights. I mean, he was beating Rosenstrike the whole fight until one punch changed it for him. So, yeah, I'm gonna go third, but I'm still picking Harris. So
yeah, well, you use that Rosenstrike as an example. Look how easily Ngannou dealt with Rosenstrike.
Yeah.
Look how quickly he put him away, where Overeem couldn't.
Yeah, he's a little older. He's past his prime. He's in the twilight of his career. You know, still has a lot of skills. You know, anybody outside of the top 10, he's going to be a big problem for. But you know, he's not at that upper echelon as he once was in the past. So it's going to be a tough fight for him. But yeah, I just hope he doesn't get knocked out. Yeah, unfortunately, that's kind of how I see it happening.
Yeah, but you've just called him to get knocked out in the third.
I don't want him to get knocked out, but yeah, that's what my gut is telling me.
Well, it's one of them ones. If he does, your prediction's right. If he doesn't, and he wins the fight, then your favorite fight.
Yeah, it's like picking against your own team. I mean, either way, you're sad because you picked against your team and you're like right, or your team won, but you're wrong with your predictions. So I'm not gonna be happy at the end of this fight. I'll be happy for Walt Harris, but just I don't know. We'll see. Well, even if Walt Harris loses, I'm like, I wanted him to win too. So anyway, thank you once again. We'll see how these turn out, and we're gonna do something a little different this week. We are gonna do this show. We're going to do this on Mondays on your Twitch channel. And then the following Tuesday, the next Tuesday, we're going to be releasing this on my YouTube channel. And then Wednesdays, we're going to release this on the Valley Flying Smash in Time podcast. So a little more consistency, and we're going to be on both of our stuff. So yeah, should be fun. Should be fun. It's going to be a test run, and hopefully technically everything goes right. But once that is set up, we're golden, brother, because I love talking to you.
Super looking forward to it, man. I'm super looking forward to involving the live streaming element to it, where people can actually ask us questions in real time, you know, and actually chime in a little bit. Maybe we can take some of your advice for these predictions as well. And then obviously having it released as a video where you can get involved in the comments, and then maybe a podcast as well, and getting that type of rolling format, I think it's going to be really, really exciting for this.
Yes. Who knows? Maybe we'll be the new Bisbing and Gomez, or who? Matt Serra and Jim Norton, whatever. I'm not a comedian. I'm not a fighter, so I don't know which role I would fill in for that. But yeah, we'll have some fun, and hopefully you guys enjoy this. Shanksy, thank you once again. Tell everybody where they could find you, my friend.
Yeah, guys, you can find me over at Twitch or on YouTube. I've got two channels, Shanksy Reacts and Shanksy, where we do a little bit of gaming, a little bit of reaction, and all that type of good stuff. Links will be down below, as always.
Sweet. Well, thank you once again, brother, and thank you guys for watching. Thank you. And thank you. Thank you guys for watching, guys. Thank you for watching, guys, and subscribe. Smash the like button, share this with your friends, turn the notifications on, ring that bell, guys, and I will see you guys next time. Make sure you check out my main channel, Valley Flying. Check me out on social media, and I will see you guys next time. Hulk fist bump, Shanksy, give me that fist bump love. Valley Flying out.